Hi, my name is Zach. I'm a Christian Druid, and today I decided that I would start reading my Bible again. Um, because I have been focusing a lot on the pagan part of my faith as of late, and not so much on the Christian part. And something my wife pointed out to me is that I had started to head down a road where I have started to hate pretty much anything Christian and be very distrustful of Christians. And seeing as how my wife is a Christian, just straight up, um, I figured that wasn't good. So I decided that I should get back into the Christian part of my faith. Um, so I actually got gifted a Bible here recently. It's a men's Bible. It's all gray and boring. So I put some stickers on here to beautify it. Um, anyway, yeah. So I decided that since I got gifted this new Bible, I would go ahead and use it for my Bible study. So anyway, this is the G&T Good News Translation, which is one I've never read before. And it kind of threw me off a little bit because it's a new version. I don't know how accurate it is to the actual text. It says it's accurate, but, any version can claim that. So anyway, yeah, so I figured that I would start from the beginning because that's how you read books, is from the beginning and you go left to right. And people who say you shouldn't read the Bible that way, I think that's silly. Because why would you compile the Bible that way if you're not supposed to read it that way? So anyway, yeah. So I started with the book of Genesis. I read chapters 1 and 2 because that's the two creation accounts in the Bible. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, two creation accounts? Isn't there just one creation account? No, there are two creation accounts. So that's one of the things I need to point out too, is that this is the first time I've read the Bible first in a long time. But secondly, this is the first time that I'm reading it with the lens that this is mythology, that this is not historical. This is not inerrant, right? So this is mythology. This is my first time reading it as such. So anyway, right, Genesis chapters 1 and 2 is the story of creation. We have Genesis chapter 1 obviously is what we're very familiar with this passage. Typically, even if you're not Christian, you're probably fairly familiar with it, but it goes through the days of creation. Day 1, God creates this. 2, he creates that. I don't remember specifically. I used to have it all memorized, but yeah, so for each day of the week, he creates something. Until finally gets to day 6 and he creates man, and creation is finished, and so then on day 7 he rests. Okay? Now, getting into chapter 2, that is a separate creation account, because you'll see that it specifically mentions that no plants were on the earth yet when God creates man. And in the previous chapter, we see that on day 3, God created plants, and on day 6, God created man. So the timeline is messed up here. So you can tell from that alone, it is two different creation accounts. And then also, after God creates man, he then creates the animals of the earth. And so that's, again, timeline messed up, because he did that on days 5 and 6, I believe, before creating man. And that is in chapter 1. And then, aside from that, after creating, aside from them being created after man, he also forms them from the soil of the earth, which in the chapter 1 account, he simply speaks them into creation. He doesn't form them out of the ground. So yeah, you have contradictory information there. And, if you view this as mythology, if you view this as not being historical, then there is actually no problem with there being contradictory accounts. That's the thing I really wanted to get to. I don't have a problem with this contradiction, because it's mythology. It was written by people who were taking their best guess at how the world was created, or just trying to create a tale to tell, to give an explanation for how the world was created. Right? This wasn't like God dictated things to people. This is just people doing their best to create a tale, and it's a fine creation tale, I think. I obviously don't, like I said, I'm viewing this as mythology, not history. I'm not taking this story literally. I'm trying to find like the deeper spiritual meaning in these stories, these two accounts. I think it's something I really need to meditate on a little more, but yeah, I think it's interesting, that's like in both accounts, right? So this is something that's common in both accounts. God takes time to create man, like he forms him. He doesn't just speak him into existence. He does form him into like from the ground, and like shapes and molds him, and then breathes life into him. So we can get from that the divine takes their time with what they do, and they take care in doing it. So and if we want to be more like the divine, we can take time with what we do. And also, this is showing that the divine creates, and that creating is a divine act. So creating life is a divine act, which this is just bringing my own thoughts into it, of course, but it's like women are the only ones who can really create life. They grow a human inside their body and then bring it into the world. So that would indicate to me that out of the two sexes, that women are more divine, and I think we need to have a bigger focus on the divine feminine. But anyway, sorry, that's getting off track and not really much into what I've actually read, but yeah, that's at least what I'm getting out of it. So, like, as a man, like, one of the like more divine act things I can do is create things. I can, I'm a musician, so I can create music. I like to craft things, take things and make them into something else. So that is kind of a divine act, and about as close as I can really get, I think, to doing something like that. So yeah, I don't know. But anyway, hopefully, I don't really have a schedule for these videos, but I will do my best to, just make these whenever I actually do my biblical studies. So yeah, that's the plan. These will, ideally these will be coming out daily, but realistically, I know that's not going to happen. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this ranty, rambly video about reading the Bible.